Wow, solo leveling really skipped out a bunch of content, huh? Well, more for me, I guess. I know. Everyone wants to hear my opinion on the new Ant, but stay tuned for that. First, we have a lot of skipped content to go over, so let's get to it. Last episode, I skipped over quite a bunch of stuff that I thought would be covered in this episode, but they didn't. They barreled right through it, right to the Jeju raid. So let's go over all that skipped content. We'll start when the S-rank hunters from Japan entered the arena. In the manhwa, we're introduced these scrubs who, to be honest, I kinda debated whether or not to mention each and every one, but I just decided not to. So I'll just put their names up on the screen. If you wanna go ahead and memorize them, please do, cause certainly I won't. One interaction that I found particularly interesting was when Goto first laid eyes on Jinwoo. Immediately, he thought he was an assassin-based hunter, because that's exactly what his aura was giving off. However, Hanakawa quickly corrected him, claiming that Jinwoo was a mage type. Goto definitely knew something wasn't right, and sensed that Jinwoo was hiding something. Around this time, Cha also realized that Jinwoo was present, and you know Cha, her eyes lit up. Now let's talk about some of the skipped content. Two of the Japanese S-ranks would take interest in Jinwoo. One of them oddly resembles someone from a particular anime called Kaiju number 8. But he's far more interested in Cha. He believes that she has heightened sense of smell just as he does, which is why she places a handkerchief over her nose. However, he assumes that she must be weak because in his mind, if she was truly strong, a simple piece of cloth wouldn't be enough to block out the filthy scent of hunters. Hanakawa and Goto have a conversation where he asks if this is the best hunters that Korea has to offer. She then clarifies that Cha is among one of the strongest, leading to the introduction of Jungwoo Park, the leader of the Knights Guild. His guild doesn't have a single S-rank hunter, but it boasts the highest number of A-rank hunters, making it very formidable. His lackey hypes him up, which leads them to a heated exchange with Hanakawa, who challenges him to a fight. This fight was of course skipped in the anime. The rules are simple. Whoever grabs the other's wrist first wins. Mr. Showoff here puts his hands in his pockets like a real badass, and Hanakawa goes on the offensive. Their scuffle is interesting as the guildmaster teaches the translator a few lessons about human combat before grabbing her wrists, putting an end to the fight. He was criticizing her for only being used for fighting behind the tanks, stating that she still needs experience in fighting humans. Goto thanks him for the match and then suggests the battle among the S-ranks as a trust-building exercise, following the same wrist-grabbing rule. In the anime, this happens right after the argument and it totally skips over the A-rank fight. Goto tells Korea that they can set their own rules as well. This is where Go steps in, exempting mages and support type hunters from the bout. Beck also adds another win condition, touching an opponent or throwing them down, in which case it becomes a 4v4 Royal Rumble. The anime stays mostly true to the Royal Rumble's fight, but some internal dialogue was omitted. Beck's fight with the one-armed guy, who was actually more aggressive in the manhwa, attacking Beck over and over. But the guy would hesitate, and this is why Beck quickly realizes that the guy is just a coward. He can't hide who he is from Beck's eyes, and they start fighting. The fight goes pretty much the same until we get to Cha's scene. After her win with the girl, she faces off with that same one-eyed dude. By reflex, she accidentally punches the hell out of his face. In the anime, the lollipop girl commented, but in the manhwa, we get multiple panels dedicated to his freakout with multiple people commenting. Apparently, this dude can clear a B-rank dungeon easily, but Goto doesn't stop him, even though he knows when he loses his temper he can kill someone. It's at this point that Jinwoo decides to step in. Goto, now intrigued, decides that he wants to see what Jinwoo is truly capable of. He's convinced that Jinwoo has fooled everyone into believing that he's a mage type when his ability is more aligned with that of an assassin. Plus, he's pissed that Jinwoo is smiling so cockily before their fight. The anime later reveals that this girl in the group is a healer, but in the manhwa, Goto actually says this beforehand, saying that he wants her to heal him and Jinwoo after the fight. The anime does take some creative liberty here in adding some exclusive shots of Juhi, hinting at her possible interest in the Jeju raid. Leaping back onto Jinwoo and Goto's fight, the sequence is pretty much the same across both mediums except for one detail, which I saw that many were disappointed that the anime didn't highlight this, but I'll cover that in a quick moment. First, we have to go over something. They do go toe to toe, in which case they both lose their cool and are forced to stop. In the manhwa, Jinwoo was concerned that he lost his composure. In the anime, he seems to have been satisfied that he could go up against Goto. He also also secretly places some shadow on everyone nearby. In the manhwa, he would seem more disappointed that none of the S ranks could sense that he did this, not even Goto himself. After all of that, the anime kind of jumps around a little bit. We immediately see Goto calling his vice captain to check on the Jeju raid roster, only to find out that Jinwoo is not on it. Beck also finds out, but in the manhwa, we first see his thoughts about Jinwoo's abilities before he gets the news. And then we get the scene of Choi breaking down the raid details with Cha. Now onto the main part which I wanted to cover in Jinwoo and Goto's fight. As much as it seems like they were even in the anime, it was truly far from it. Goto knew that he would die. This is where his composure would break. In the manhwa, we see him sweat and panic. The fight was looking like Saitama versus Genos for a moment, you know, utter death. The anime then cuts to Jinwoo finally getting home, enjoying some time with his family, but in the manhwa, it jumps straight over to the new ant being born. Now, this might be a little controversial, but I think I know why they changed the design and color of the ant. I'll save my thoughts for the next episode, as I think that's kind of a bit of a spoilery type of thing, so I want to stay away from that for just a little bit longer. The anime does catch up to this scene, however, and then jumps over to a news report showing the ants as they mutate into humanoid creatures with wings. We also get to see Byung-gyu reflecting, watching some kids as he muddles over his thoughts about the Jeju raid. This was what pushed him over the edge to join the raid. He wants to make sure that these kids are kept safe. A dungeon break doesn't give a shit about kids, it literally kills them all. Now, jumping over, we see Jinho and Little Miss E-Rank argue about her joining the raid as well. And then we get Ju-hee appearing alongside Mr. Kim. Meanwhile, President Go anxiously prepares for the raid. These scenes were all anime exclusive, while the manhwa decided to take a different route. Now, I think this is the biggest amount of skipped details so far, but I'll cover where it starts. You see, Jinwoo returns home with his mother only to find the house in a total mess thanks to Jin-ah. They decide to clean up together, but oddly enough, his mother doesn't seem to know that he is a hunter. But wouldn't she find out from the TV? Anyways, the media speculates about why Jinwoo isn't joining the raid roster, claiming that he's still in E-rank mentally, so that's why he's scared. But Jinwoo doesn't care about that, he only worries about Jin-ah. Of course, you know that the scene where they cleaned up and they spoke about Jinwoo's father was shown in the previous episode and not this one. But this all stitches together as Jinwoo walks down the street and then gets a call from Jinho, who's finally found a new office space. Jinwoo visits, and then Jinho mentions that they have to hire another hunter. But at the same time, he hands Jinwoo a message saying that a hunter who speaks English wants to talk to him. But mid-conversation, Jinwoo senses something and teleports away. He interrupts a murder in progress, effortlessly overpowering the attacker. He leaves an High Orc shadow with him, ordering the High Orc to kill this dude if he doesn't give up murdering by midnight. This is a subplot that I think was part of the novel, hinting that mysterious killings were happening all over his neighborhood near his apartment, and that's why he put these soldiers on patrol in the first place. But as I said, I won't be covering anything from the novel, just letting you get a little need to know, you know? In the manhwa, Goto panics over his fight with Jinwoo, as this is where he saw his own death. The anime skips over that and goes straight through the raid. The anime also introduces various hunters participating, but in the manhwa, it provides a little more detail about the guilds and the ship they used. But I couldn't help but notice that they used the same animation, the same shots from episode 1, put those side by side for you to see what I mean. And then we get a meeting with President Go. It's here that we finally get to see Byung-gyu joining the team, and Beck is immediately glad to see his friend join. This little part wasn't in the manhwa, of course. Instead, we get the scene of Beck and the others being introduced to the cameraman who will be filming this whole event. And if we know anything about anime cameramen, is that they never die. He's an A-rank hunter who's had a lot of experience in recording high-level dungeon raids, especially ones with a high rate of success. So why not record this one as well for all of Korea to see that we need a hero more than ever. Though both cameraman and Byung-gyu seem to be a bit nervous. Anyways, it's here that we also get this cute Cha scene, her asking for Jinwoo as well. And then we get Goto and his team as they move into position. And it's at that point that the anime decides to give us that anime cameraman scene, you know. And now the mission starts, with all the hunters releasing their magic power, luring the ants in. And some would try to attack the helicopter. In the manhwa, Choi launches a magical blast, but then leaps from the chopper as he has to concentrate his firepower, as the ants are somewhat used to it. And then the rest leap out to join him. The anime and manhwa will follow the same path, as the team would be successful in their jobs. Choi and the others track down the queen, while Jinwoo gets his dailies in, and kind of checks on the raid a little. Then we get back to inside the ant's nest where they find an egg chamber and they noticed a giant egg and think that it must have been a royal guard or something. I found it so funny that he says that here. Oh, in the manhwa only. He doesn't say it in the anime. Everyone has been saying it's literal Hunter x Hunter all over again. And if you've watched the Chimera Ant arc for Hunter x Hunter, oh my god, I'm still traumatized. Oh, woof. Now, back outside, this guy is a little injured as he got a little carried away with, killing ants. So he asks the healer to heal up his injuries, only for her fucking head to be lopped off. And then the episode ends. A pretty good episode. I won't keep you because this video has been, in my mind, super long. So let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I've been your host, Kyle. Thank you again for joining V Nation. Peace out. Stay safe. Bye.